What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we're going to give you the top 10 players for the Tennessee Volunteers heading into the 2019 college football season. And this one was tough because there aren't really any players on this Tennessee team that jump out as being way better than everyone else. So really from 1 to 10, there's a lot of parity, and to try to rank these players and come up with a list here was kind of tough. I feel pretty good about the 10 teams, but where they're ranked, I think there will definitely be some debate here, and I'd love to hear it from the Tennessee fans, so you guys let me know your thoughts. At number 10, I had to include him on the list. That's Trey Smith. He may not play in 2019, may never play again, dealing with the blood clot situation. It's an awful situation for him, but if he plays and if he's healthy, he's probably the best player on this team. But I just wanted to put him at 10 just to include him. He was on the All-SEC second team as a freshman in 2017, didn't play last season, or he may have played a little bit. I can't remember if he played at all last year or not, but dealing with that issue, again, if he is healthy, he's probably the best player on this team. He's a future NFL first-round draft pick. At number 9, we go to Jauan Jennings, the wide receiver. Last year had 40 catches, 438 yards, 3 touchdowns. This Tennessee team has some really talented receivers, but they just don't get used a whole lot. You look at the offense last year, they didn't throw the ball really very much. I think that might change a little bit in 2019. I think they're still going to be a run-first team, but maybe they throw it a little bit more. Guarantano has proven that he can be efficient with the football. They've got a lot of talent at these wide receiver positions. I think Jennings will have a better year in 2019. Speaking of Jarrett Guarantano, he's at number 8. Threw for almost 2,000 yards last year, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a 62% completion percentage. So he was very efficient with the football, didn't make a lot of turnovers, did split a little bit of time with Keller Christ. So that's part of why his numbers are not that high. And they just didn't give him that many opportunities. Again, they didn't throw the ball a whole lot last year at Tennessee. I think they will throw it more, and I think with him being the guy, no doubt about it, I think he's going to have a really good year. And I think he could potentially be even higher on this list. Again, he's been efficient with the football. Now it's just time to give him a little bit more trust. I've been very impressed with Guarantano myself, personally. But at number 7, we go to Darrin Kirkland Jr. Last year had 51 tackles, 5 tackles for loss. Had a sack as well, an interception. Had a pass breakup, so he was really all over the field for them. This defense, there are some question marks there. They did lose some key guys, but they have some of their top guys back as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do in year 2 under Jeremy Pruitt on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, this team has almost everyone back. At number 6, we're going to go with Chandler. Last year had 630 rushing yards, 183 yards receiving, so he did help them in the pass game as well. 7 total touchdowns. I think 3 of those were receiving. They've got, Tim Jordan. They've got several guys there at the running back position that kind of split time. Chandler, I think, is the best running back on this team. He might split time again a lot in 2019, but if he had more carries, I think he could easily be a 1,000-yard rusher in 2019. We move on to number 5 and go back to the defensive side of the ball. Bryce Thompson, I think, probably is the best defensive back on this Tennessee defense. Last year he had 32 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and a sack as well. Had 3 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, had a forced fumble. So he was in there making plays, causing turnovers, made a few plays again behind the line of scrimmage. A very talented kid, and I think, again, he is going to be their leader in the secondary. They're going to be pretty young there, and I've got Bryce Thompson at number 5. We move on to number 4, and he was my pick to win offensive MVP for this Tennessee team. That's Marquez Callaway. Last year, 592 receiving yards. I think that he has a future in the NFL. If they threw the ball more, again, he's easily a 1,000-yard receiver, 16 yards per catch, so he is making the most of his opportunities when he does catch the football, making some big plays. Only 2 touchdowns. So again, the numbers are not great, and that's really what you see with a lot of these Tennessee players. They played a lot of guys. It's not like they had. That's why again this list is so tough. They didn't just depend on one guy at really any one position. They really spread it around. Their production really on both offense and defense. At number 3, we go to Daniel Bituli. Last season, 79 tackles. You go back to 2017, though, he had 90 tackles, Last year had 7 tackles for loss, had a sack. I think he needs to do that a little bit more. Get behind the line of scrimmage and make some big plays there. Not really sure why his tackle numbers went down so much. And he wasn't the only guy either. You're going to see another guy here in just a second. So maybe that'll come back up. Maybe it's the new defense. And again, it just feels like they're playing more guys. And they have a lot of depth on this Tennessee team now. At number 2, we're going to the defensive line. And Emmit Gooden, last season, 33 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, had a sack as well. And again, you go and look at the defensive linemen's numbers from last year, no one jumps out at you, but I think Gooden is the best player on this defensive line. Like I said earlier, I would love to hear from Tennessee fans, see what you guys think about all of these players and where you would rank them. Obviously, you follow your team closer than I do. I didn't watch every snap of every game last year, but this is just my best guess. But I think Nigel Warrior is going to be the best player on this Tennessee team in 2019. Last year had 64 tackles, 83 tackles though in 2017, so his production did drop off a lot. He played in the same number of games as well, only 1 tackle for loss, so didn't really have a whole lot of stats, but I think he bounces back and has a huge year in 2019. I think he'll be the best player on this Tennessee team. We've got Nigel Warrior at number 1. Again, you guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. How would you change these rankings? Who would you maybe add in here that I left off? I would love to hear any feedback from you guys, especially the Tennessee fans. But that is going to do it for this video. Keep it locked right here for the latest on SEC football.